Did you know that Whitney Houston secretly kept a gay relationship with her creative director, even as a married woman? Like every one of her dark secrets, this too would only come to light after her mysterious death. From her struggles with drugs, forbidden romances, multiple miscarriages, and down to the real cause of her sudden tragic death. In this video, we share with you the untold stories about the life and career of the American singer and actress Whitney Houston. Whitney was born to African-American parents who blessed her with the gift of music. Her mother, Cissy Houston, was responsible for her proper celebrity head start. She made Whitney learn and practice the piano at the age of 5 while forcing her to join and sing in the choir. Even as a teenager, Whitney kept facing intense pressure from her mother, who insisted that she served as one of the backups for her gospel music band. Finally, she got what she had been fighting for. Whitney was crazy about music now, but even that did not make her as happy as she had thought. She still was going to make her complete her education before accepting record deals. The teenager had plans to obey her mother, but things spewed out of her control after she was discovered by a photographer. With his influence, Whitney Houston became one of the first African-American women to appear on the cover of 17 magazine. 19-year-old Whitney Houston broke her mother's heart when she accepted her first record deal in a nightclub. It was on the same night that she met the famed American record producer Clive Davis. Together, they started working on the fastest route to announce Whitney's talent to the world. In 1983, Whitney made her national television debut on The Merv Griffin Show, where she sang home from the musical The Wiz. 1985 was Whitney's breakthrough year as her debut album, Whitney Houston, became a smash pop sensation. Her hit singles came with tracks like Saving All My Love for You and How Will I Know. The singer won her first Grammy for Saving All My Love for You, which was presented to her by her cousin, Dionne Warwick. Whitney followed this success with another hit record, Whitney, which was released in 1987. This record was certified platinum many times over, and the hit track, I Wanna Dance with Somebody, earned her another Grammy. I think Whitney Houston's biggest career success came with her cover of Dolly Parton's I Will Always Love You. This track spent a record-breaking 14 weeks at the top of the US charts, and by the end of the year, it had become Houston's first diamond single. With over 24 million copies sold, I Will Always Love You became the best-selling single ever by a female solo artist. The years that followed after this, unfortunately, were not all sunshine and rainbows for the legendary American singer. While she enjoyed a few other successes, life was going to make sure she suffered for every one of them. We all suspected it even after it was publicly denied, but the truth only came out after Whitney Houston's death. So yes, it was true, the singer had and maintained a romantic relationship with her creative director, Robin Crawford. She was always quick to dismiss it as just friendship, but her first mistake was thinking that she could deceive her parents. When Whitney's parents found out about her gay romance, they didn't know how to react to it at first. While her father later took a gentle approach to the news, her mother demanded that she end the relationship immediately. Whitney was used to not listening to her mother, so in secret, she continued this forbidden romance. Cissy Houston knew that she had made a huge mistake with her daughter. She had the opportunity to change this before it was public, but refused to act on it. Whitney had this life as a child. She always insisted on being dressed as a tomboy, and then as a teenager, she met Robin, who became an expression of her secret desires. In Robin's new memoir, A Song for You, My Life with Whitney Houston, she details the inside moments of her relationship with her secret celebrity lover. According to her, at some point, Whitney gave in to her mother's pressures and so suggested that they split. Whitney told me her mother said that it wasn't natural for two women to be that close, Robin wrote, but we were that close. Never talked about labels like lesbian or gay. We just loved our lives, and I hoped it could go on that way forever. Unfortunately, that never happened. Whitney eventually ended her personal and working relationship with Robin Crawford, and even this unfolded another ugly chapter of Whitney Houston's life and her futile search for lasting happiness. Whitney Houston, without the microphone, was not a woman of many words. Her romantic tangles with men in the industry continued to stay secret until they were revealed by women whom she had grudges with. After Whitney severed all ties with Robin Crawford, she decided to take her father's advice to date more men. Her first relationship was with Jermaine Jackson, brother to Michael Jackson. Although neither of them admitted to this romance, Jermaine's sister, LaToya, was going to expose them in her interview with The Talk in 2012. She revealed that Houston and her brother had a secret affair when he was married. Maybe it was a one-time thing or it happened more than once. Either way, it didn't last, and the next man on Whitney's hit list was Eddie Murphy. According to Robin Crawford, Whitney was dating Eddie and Bobby Brown at the same time, but Bobby was the winner of that contest. Whitney was made to believe that she made the right choice with Bobby, but this was that relationship that would haunt her until she died. Not many people know this, but between 1985 and 1987, Whitney also shared love with the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback, Randall Cunningham. Her first and only marriage was with Boston City's bad boy Bobby Brown. Now, this union was marred with controversies from the start, and people always wondered what the harmless and lovable Whitney Houston saw in music bad boy Bobby, who was involved with gangs and a father of 3 at the time. Whitney defended herself, claiming that she and Brown shared similar roots, and he made her really happy. The couple tied the knot in 1992. After this, Bobby revealed that the marriage was doomed from the altar. On their wedding day, Bobby caught his wife-to-be doing drugs, but this was only the beginning. As the years progressed, Whitney became increasingly unreliable, canceling 5 shows during her 1999 tour. She was always late for photo shoots, and we all saw how thin she got. Finally, in 2002, Whitney admitted to using marijuana, cocaine, and alcohol, but she denied smoking crack. According to her, crack is whack, a phrase that made rounds on the internet. In all 14 years of marriage with Bobby Brown, Whitney was admitted to rehab twice, and Bobby was arrested multiple times for physical abuse and drug charges. I think that Whitney lost all patience and hope for this marriage after Bobby beat her to a pulp sometime in 2003. He was arrested, only to continue after he was released. This was when Whitney decided to leave. Before they separated, the couple had a daughter, Bobby Christina Brown, who is today an American television personality and a singer. Their marriage was a choice to be ashamed of, but Whitney refused to admit to any regrets. She maintained that she was at peace, knowing that she gave everything into their marriage and kept her vows sacred. "I never cheated. I never did none of that stuff. I just did drugs," Whitney told Winfrey. Not sure if the industry will ever forgive Bobby Brown for what he did to our beloved Whitney Houston, but a majority of Bobby's attackers still blame the singer for forgetting all of the values she sang about. I know it might not be as popular as it should be, but Whitney Houston at a point in her career also found favor on the big screens. She enjoyed success as an actress in films like The Bodyguard, Waiting to Exhale, The Preacher's Wife, and Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella. Her last film appearance was in the 2012 musical drama film Sparkle, where she played Emma Anderson, the mother of 3 girls including Sparkle. The movie is set in the 1960s, and it features the complexities of fame, music, and family. It was not exactly a box office wonder, but it was a fair representation of Whitney's struggles in her journey to stardom. Life without Bobby Brown was not as easy as Whitney had thought. Her father passed away during the last years of her marriage, and she also suffered multiple miscarriages. After her divorce, Whitney's struggle with drugs continued, but contrary to public knowledge, she didn't die of an overdose. Whitney Houston died of accidental drowning, with contributing factors of heart disease and cocaine use. From her mother's report, Whitney seemed fine after she got off a call with her a few minutes before her death. Her assistant only alerted local authorities when she found her unresponsive in her bathtub. Till today, it is not quite clear how exactly Whitney Houston died. She could have passed out first due to intoxication from the cocaine, or she could have had a heart attack and then drowned. It's probably one of those 2 scenarios, Coroner Assistant Chief Ed Winter reported. Whitney Houston was confirmed dead on February 11, 2012, and she was 48 years old. The news of her passing sent a shocking wave around the industry, and people couldn't help but wonder why such a lovable soul was met with a tragic end. Whitney's funeral was held on February 19th in Newark, New Jersey, where she performed as a child in the choir. Her memorial service featured performances from many top artists in the industry, including Alicia Keys, who sang an emotional rendition of Send Me an Angel. It's been almost 14 years since her untimely demise, but the sound of her voice is still as fresh in our hearts. Her last public performance was singing Jesus Loves Me on stage with Kelly Price in Hollywood at a pre-Grammy party. Whitney Houston is remembered as one of the greatest singers of all time, and her contributions to music and culture will never be forgotten.